Hello class, good morning. Our topic for today is estimating sums and difference of decimals. Let's start.
So in rounding decimal place, one way of doing it is most especially when we talk about pesos. So we should round it to the nearest peso. Okay, for example here 335.50. This can be rounded into 336, while 378.75 is 379. So we just round the decimal into peso. Then after that, let's add 6 plus 9 is 15. Carry 1. 4 plus 7 is 11. Carry 1. Then 7. So 715. This is what we call estimate. Okay? Or this is the estimate sum or total of these two number. The next, let's add the actual. So 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. Then the decimal point, carry 1. 5 plus 1 6 plus 8 is 14. Carry 1. 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 7 11. Carry 1. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1 7. So this is what we call the actual total or the actual sum. As you can observe, the actual sum is close to the estimate sum, and you do estimate adding and subtracting. The answer of the actual and the estimate must be close. So a while ago, we just round it to the nearest peso, and now we round it to the nearest hundred. So the hundred would be ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, hundreds. So if we're going to round 335 in hundreds, that would be 300, and 375 will become 400. So why 300? Because the next digit to 3 is less than 5. So round it down. And here, the next digit to 3 is 7, which is 5 or greater than 5. You will add the number that you're going, or to the digit that you will round. So it will become 400. So if we add 007, 700 pesos. Next, try to add it, or let's add it in the nearest 10. So when you add, round it to the nearest 10. So this one, 3 and 7. So when you're going to round 335.50 in the nearest 10, it will become 340. Then 378.75 will become 380. Then add 0 to carry 1, 7. So the product is 720. But actually, when you do rounding, or when you estimate the product of decimals, it must be so if we compare the estimate sums, the nearest estimate sum is peso, or the sum estimate to the nearest peso is closer to the actual sum than the estimate to the nearest hundred and nearest tens. So it is better to round the numbers to the lower place value so that the estimate sum would be closer to the actual sum. I will repeat. It is better to round the numbers to the lower place value to get an estimate sum closer to the actual sum. So just like here, the nearest peso is close to the sum or to the actual sum compared to when you round it to the nearest hundred and nearest tens. But actually, if you want to get a quick estimate mentally, you should round the numbers to the higher place value of the number. So just like this one, 100 is the higher place value of the number. So if you get the estimate sum, it is very easy to solve. So let's add these three numbers using the front end technique. So the first thing that we're going to do is to underline the front end digits. So the front end digits 1, 1, and 1. After you underline the front end digits, we need to add it. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. Then after that, set aside the product of the front end digits and let's move to the other part. So 0.32, 0.29, and 0.34. So estimate the sum of the remaining digits by adding the digits in the tens place. So we're going to add the digits in the tens place. So this would be 0.30, 0.20, and 0.30. Then just add 8. So the product of these 3 decimal points or the estimate is 0.80 and just add 3. So 3.80. So the sum estimate is 3.80. Next is let's use the front end technique in subtracting. Okay. So 585.50 minus 152.00. First is underline the front digits, so 5 and 1. Then next, since our operation is subtraction, then 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. So just set aside that one. Next is the next step is let's adjust our estimate by subtracting the next digit. So we will subtract the next digit. We're done with this one, which is 4. The next is 8 minus 5 is 3. Then just put the zeros and the estimate difference of 585.50 minus 152.00 is 430. But actually we can also get another estimate difference for the two by rounding it to the nearest hundreds. So what is the nearest hundreds is 5 and 1. So 600 minus 200, because the digit next to 5 is 8, so we round it up. The digit next to 1 is 5, so we also round it up. Then subtract 6 minus 2 is 4. So this is the difference when we round these two numbers in the nearest hundred, and this is the difference when we use the front end technique. So next example, estimate the sum of 0.312 and 0.347. So in this case, let's round it to the nearest hundred. So nearest hundred. Okay, then let's round. So since this is tens, hundreds, so this will be the digit that we're going to round. So if we're going to round it, 0.310. Round it down because the next digit, or the digit to 1 is 2, which is less than 5, so round it down. The next is tens, hundreds, 4, and the digit next to 4 is 7, greater than or equal to 5, so we will round it up. So 0.35. Then add. So the estimate sum of 0.312 and 0.347 when rounded into the nearest hundred is 0.360. Then if we get the actual sum, 2 plus 7 is 9, 1 plus 4 is 5, 3 plus 3 is 6, then 0. So as you can see, the estimate sum, which is 0.360, and the actual sum, which is 0.651, is close, or the estimate sum is close to the actual sum. So the next example is estimate the difference of 0.347 and 0.312. So we will round it to the nearest hundred. So tens, hundred, so 0.350, because the digit next to 4 is 7, which is equal or greater than 5, so we round it up by adding 1 to 4. Next, 0.312 tens, hundreds. Since the next digit to 1 is 2, which is less than 5, so we round it down. Then subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 1 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. Then the decimal point. So this is the estimated difference of 0.347 and 312 when you round it to the nearest hundred. Now let's find the difference of, or the actual difference. Seven minus 2, 5. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. So this is the estimate difference, and this is the actual difference. So if you round the actual difference to the nearest hundred, the estimate difference, okay, the estimate difference and the actual difference is close.
For your activity, answer practice A and B on page 166. Write your solution on a sheet of paper, take a photo of your answers, send it via private message, deadline November 10.